guys? It's your boy Alex West Collects here, bringing the most in-depth action figure reviews here on YouTube. And today we're taking a look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman and Robin full set review. We're taking a look at Batman, Robin, Batgirl, and Poison Ivy, all completed here to build your Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze figure. So I did pre-order these on Target. They shipped kind of weird. I got Robin, Batgirl, and Poison Ivy in one shipment. They split Batman into another. I figured Batman was the easiest one to get, especially since we have already seen a George Clooney Batman release in that Batman Ultimate 6-pack. But we do have the full set review. We're going to go through. We're going to take a look at all these figures in the box and really go in-depth and really get a good sense of how well this Build-A-Figure Mr. Freeze is in hand. Here is a look at Batman in the packaging, and you can see the box is a little wider than your traditional standard carded single card releases due to the Build-A-Figure pieces that are included. So you do get the legs to build your Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze. You do also get the two freeze effects. I believe it's either for the hands or maybe somewhere on the legs. I'm going to say it's the hands if I remember correctly on the proto shots where he's got him with a freeze gun. But your Batman figure looks to be similar to what we got with the Ultimate Batman pack. You can see the cape is a rubber material, but the packaging does look nice. I love the beautiful window box. You can see right in there, you'll see the DC Multiverse logo here. Collect to build your Mr. Freeze. On the side, you get your Batman nameplate. On the other side, you got the Batman and Robin logo. Flip it over to the side. It is a little tough to get on there, but you'll see the nice logos here. And I can't believe we're getting this set. This is just insane. When it was announced at Comic-Con, I really lost my shit. But you'll see all the figures, including the wave, all the Build-A-Figure pieces, everything included, and the awesome image of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Next up is the Chris O'Donnell Robin figure, and this looks great. I cannot wait to get him out of the packaging. I am looking forward to eventually getting one from the Batman Forever look as well, but we'll do with the Batman and Robin look first. Again, the same size box. He does come with the arms and more freeze effects pieces for your Mr. Freeze. Same kind of logos here. You'll see on the side, it does have the Robin nameplate. Robin on the other side as well as the Batman and Robin logo, and the same backing just to show the other pieces that are included. Here's a look at Batgirl in the packaging. How crazy is it? In 2023, 2024, we're getting George Clooney, Chris O'Donnell, and Alicia Silverstone in action figure form. That's just nuts. But she does come with the head and it looks like the shoulder pieces or armor for your Mr. Freeze, as well as the freeze gun and another freeze effect. Same logos on the front. Get the nameplate on the side. Flipping over, you will see the Batgirl nameplate as well, and the back of the box. And lastly, we have Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. You'll see she comes with a torso piece to complete the set. And, I mean, out of all the actors we just mentioned, George Clooney, Alicia Silverstone, and Chris O'Donnell, I think Uma Thurman's probably the one who's still kind of active. I don't know. I feel like a lot of these people or actors have not done a lot of movies as of late, but it's insane to have them in hand. Flipping over the side, you'll see the Poison Ivy nameplate. Same on the other side, following suit on all of the other figures in this set, and the same on the back. All right, first off, we're going to take a look at Poison Ivy. So accessory-wise, you do get a trading card with the image of Poison Ivy from the movie here on the front. If you guys want to read this little card bio on the back, you can pause and take a look right now. But it does have the Poison Ivy nameplate up here, as well as the Batman and Robin font underneath, as well as the image that is on the front of the card. You get your traditional McFarlane display stand, which I do love. And you also do get this torso piece to build your Mr. Freeze. If you guys want to get a quick close-up of this, because it looks like this figure is going to be massive in the size. I kind of wish this was a little bit of a more metallic look, more than like a matte, not matte silver, but I feel like the suit didn't look quite this light, or maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, but this looks pretty good. We will definitely build him as we go on through this video, but we'll take a look at Poison Ivy first. So she's okay looking. There's a few things that I'm just kind of noticing right off the bat that I'm not crazy about, just kind of messing around with her off camera, but you can see she does have these kind of nice sleeves. The actual attire does look pretty good. We'll get a close-up. You can see it looks like a bunch of plants and stuff. There is some more design here on her tights. I do like the shading or the kind of color differentiation, how it kind of fades from light to dark. So I do like that. And you can see her boots here. I will say trying to get her to stand with these high heels was a little annoying. That is why it's great that she does come included with those display stands. Even look at her hands, actually. That is pretty nice detail. You can see the little vines wrapped around there. She does kind of have like a trigger finger hand, which is a little odd, as well as an open hand. But the actual face sculpt looks pretty good. I do like the likeness to Uma Thurman. You can see the little, like, I guess, leaves you want to call them around her eyes. The big, bright red hair that you're used to with Poison Ivy, as well as on the top of her hair. The sculpting is really nice. If you guys want to get a look at the attire in the back. Love the detailing on here. Wow, even on her inside of her hand, you'll see it looks like a little leaf. That is pretty good, man. The one thing I noticed right off the bat off camera, which is really hard to see, they did not paint her actual joint here on the inside of her shoulder. That is a little annoying. It is molded in green, so I could definitely see where people might have some issues with that. I don't know if this torso is probably painted. I would assume, maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But the inside of it is definitely green here on the joint. That's kind of the one gripe. But other than that, I'm actually really impressed for this figure. And I'll be honest, I really wasn't that excited to have it. But now that it's here, it does look pretty good. I also want to run through some quick articulation. So the head will fully rotate, even though she does have this big bit of hair. It doesn't really look too far up. It does look pretty good down. As good as you're going to get. You'll see the hair kind of has that like gappage look. It looks a little odd. As far as the arm fully does rotate, there is no bicep cut up here. Actually, there is. It's twisting, so I guess it is there. It's kind of like hidden under. That is pretty good. Does she have a little bit of a butterfly joint? So-so with the McFarlanes. She does have the double jointed elbows here. Does have the wrist hinge. It also does rotate. She's got this diaphragm joint here where you can get some good like posability. There is waist swivel. As far as looking down, she can look down about that much. Good amount back, so that's pretty good. As far as the legs, there is no thigh cut. She does have the double jointed knees, but there is no shin cut here either. There is a kind of a little swivel here at the boot. It does actually hinge down as well, and she does seem to have some toe articulation here. As far as the splits, she can split about that much. She can kick pretty high up. Kick back, not too bad. I mean, all in all, pretty good articulation for a figure at this price point. Moving right along to Batgirl. So she does come with this beautiful trading card. Do like the look of this. I don't know if Alicia Silverstone was my favorite Batgirl, but you know what? It was part of my childhood, so it is kind of crazy to have her in action figure form. You'll see the little read up here on the back of the card. You also do get another traditional McFarlane DC display stand for your Build-A-Figure parts. You do get the blaster as well as this freeze effect. It looks like it just kind of ports right in there. That is probably how I'm going to have my Mr. Freeze displayed in my collection. This looks pretty good. It seems to be the same kind of silver color, I'm going to say, as the suit. If you guys want a comparison, you also do get these two kind of shoulder pieces. Look like they poured in. I thought this was one piece looking at it in the box, but it is just the two shoulder pieces. I hope I get them on the right side how they're supposed to look. But there is two extra pieces, and they're very soft and very pliable, so it shouldn't be too bad getting on. Here's a big selling point. You get the Arnold head. I feel like it looked a little better in the images that were released prior, but it doesn't look bad. He does have this kind of like translucent look to the helmet, so I do like that. Same kind of silver color. The face is okay. I don't think they quite nailed Arnold. I can definitely see a likeness from the side. Spot on. It doesn't look like Arnold to me, but from this angle, I can definitely see it. So I know in McFarlane, they'll probably will do a deluxe version. They'll blow this one out of the water, just like they did with Bane or the Gold Label, whatever it's called. But moving on to Batgirl. So as I drop her, same thing. She kind of has a hard time standing. Of course, now, there you go. She has a little bit of a hard time standing, I'm going to say. So I did want to point that out. Kind of just had her chilling over there. But taking a look at the head, you will see it's an okay likeness. I don't know if it's perfect to Alicia Silverstone. If you want to bring the card in, because that is the image from the movie, right? It looks okay. It could be better. But the suit is really just plain black. You'll see the Bat logo here on the front. Looking at all of the armor. Some nice sculpting to it. You can see more of the Bat logo. Same with her boots. She does have these kind of like high-rise boots. Gauntlets look pretty good, a little thin, exactly how you'd expect it to look on Batgirl. So it doesn't look bad for a movie that wasn't the best. I know as a kid, I didn't think it was terrible, but rewatching as an adult, oof, it's a little rough. But you can see the kind of nice waves to this cape. It looks like it has a different, like thicker material to it. I really do like the look of it. For the most part, you know, the suit looks good. The head could be a little better. If you guys want to run through some articulation, the head does fully rotate on this figure. It does get caught on this cape a little bit, if you guys are noticing that. Let's rotate it back. The arms do go up. They fully do rotate. Obviously, the cape is going to get in the way. There is a bicep cut. She does have the double jointed elbows. Same with the wrists. They fully rotate. They do hinge. She also does have the diaphragm joint up here, just like Poison Ivy. There is waist kind of rotation or diaphragm joint rotation, whatever you want to call it here on the bottom. As far as her legs, there is no thigh cut. She does have the double jointed knees. There is no shin cut on here either. Her ankles do hinge up and down. There is no real rotation as far as rocking. She does do the full splits pretty good. She can kick up pretty good, kick back a little bit. All in all, same kind of articulation you would expect for these female characters. For some quick comparisons for Poison Ivy and Batgirl, on the left, we have the Nightfall Catwoman. Just imagine how crazy it would be if McFarlane released a Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman from Batman Returns. I would lose my stuff. That is a high want on my list. I think we eventually do get it. I mean, I feel like McFarlane's really been killing it with these cinematic Batman characters. On the right, we have more of the comic-esque version of Batgirl. You can see her compared with the Alicia Silverstone. So all in all, they look pretty good, and they seem to scale really nice. Next up, we are taking a look at Robin. I cannot believe we have Chris O'Donnell in the McFarlane line. He was my guy growing up as a kid. I love Batman, obviously, but really a big fan of this version of Robin, especially in the Batman Forever series. So it's kind of cool to have him here in figure form. He does come with a trading card like everyone else. You get the image of Chris O'Donnell here on the front. On the back, if you want to pause and read the little bio for Dick Grayson on the back, you can. You also do, of course, get your black display stand for your Mr. Freeze Build-A-Figure parts. So you do get these arms that port into the torso. You can see a nice sculpted design. Does have a nice kind of painting of the blue to kind of give that ice effect here. Really like the hand sculpts here. Awesome. Hopefully those shoulder pieces do port in without a problem. You do also get two of these freeze pieces to kind of port onto your figure. So I believe this is for the leg. Doesn't look like there's any clasp to kind of hold in it, so that'll be interesting. This looks like it's used for the arm. You can see it kind of just clips on there, and we'll get into that after we take a look at the figure. But let's look at this Robin. This does look really good. Look at that head sculpt of Chris O'Donnell. I really do like the way the hair is kind of painted, and the lines are sculpted in there. Really nice detail. Love the mask on there as well. Taking a look at the back of the head, you can see the cape. It is a plastic cape that is included, just like the other figures in the wave. It would be nice to get him in more of a premium version eventually down the road. Maybe the Batman Forever line, he comes with a cloth cape, because I love the cloth capes from McFarlane. It really does add something extra to the figure. But we'll kind of zoom in. Take a look at the armor. He does have the nipples here, the infamous nipples on the suits for the Batman and Robin movie. He does kind of have this nice red kind of Robin look painted on here. A little bit of a dark red on there. You can see the gauntlets look pretty good too. Love the molding as far as the abs on the suit. You do get the Batman logo here. The legs seem to be kind of plain. No real sculpting to it, but the boots look awesome. You do get the Bat logos here. Kind of some nice, like, I don't know, folds to it and like lines. I really do like the detailing. Same on the other side. If you guys want to look at the back of the figure, we'll run through some quick articulation here as well. So the head fully rotates. Doesn't look too far up. Looks about that much down. The arms do fully rotate around. It does hinge. Looks like there's a little more of a mobility with like a little bit of a butterfly joint. He does have the double jointed elbows. There is also a bicep cut. Arms will hinge and rotate as well. So good articulation on there. He does have the diaphragm joint, which will allow you to get him into some great poses. He can lean back pretty far. Go down about that much. There is some rotation here at the waist. The figure does do the full splits. He can kick up pretty high as well. No thigh cut, unfortunately. That would add something to these figures. You do get the double jointed knees. You'll see they are a little stiff on mine. The feet do hinge up and down. I hate these joints that McFarlane uses. They're just kind of a pain in the ass. Makes it harder to stand for these figures from time to time. But I am loving everything this figure has to offer. Here's a quick look at those freeze effects on the figure. So this piece really plugs in really nicely on the hand. I will say the lower piece is a little wonky. I kind of just put his boot in there. There are no clips to kind of put on his leg, but I guess that's probably your best bet. For your Robin comparison, so on the left, we have the Tim Drake Robin, obviously more of a comic book-esque version versus the cinematic look with Chris O'Donnell. And on the right, I just figured it'd be fun to throw it in there. We have the Batman Forever Val Kilmer Batman to compare with this Chris O'Donnell. And the last figure we are taking a look at today is the George Clooney Batman. Now, if you have the Ultimate Batman 6-pack, this figure looks to be virtually the same, just looking at it on face value right now. Obviously, the cape is different. You will notice this does have a plastic cape versus the cloth version, but we will get into comparisons in the next segment. So let's take a look at all the accessories included with this Batman figure. You do get the Batman trading card here with the image of George Clooney on the front. I believe this is different from the card that came with the 6-pack. On the back, you will have the little read-up for Bruce Wayne Batman from the Batman and Robin movie. You also do get a set of, I guess, the frozen effects that will go over the fists for Batman. Here we will kind of port them on there as we go on with this review. You will see, just like Robin, they kind of clasp over his gauntlet. So that'll be pretty cool to have for some figure photography. Also, just like all the other figures, you get your black display stand. And for your Mr. Freeze Build-A-Figure parts, you get the legs to complete them here and finish off Mr. Freeze. If you guys want a quick close-up of these legs, you'll see the nice sculpting and also the blue paint that kind of goes along with it. Look at the size of those boots, man. They are massive. Cannot wait to complete and assemble Mr. Freeze before we get out of this video review. But take a look at the Batman. Not very excited, I'll be honest. I mean, even though the 6-pack version, I wanted it, but definitely one of my least favorite Batman looks. George Clooney, to say the least, I was just not a big fan. You will see he does have the bat symbol, very simple and plain black. He does have the nipples on this figure as well. The belt buckle does have the Batman logo. Moving on underneath. The boots are very similar to what came with Robin. The same kind of sculpt, but they got the nice little wrinkles in there if you guys want a quick close-up. All in all, the suit looks pretty good. I'm not going to knock it. But like I said, if you already have the other version, it's kind of like a waste. But take a look at this cape. You'll see the kind of nice like shine to it. This does feel a little lighter than what we're used to. It is more pliable than some of the comic Batman figures that we got with those heavy capes. But even that head sculpt to me looks to be the same. If you guys want to go over some quick articulation, head will fully rotate. Looks up pretty good compared to all the other figures in this wave. Looks down pretty good. He does have a little bit of a butterfly joint you can get here. The arms go fully out. They do rotate all the way around. There is a bicep cut. You do get double jointed elbows. The wrists do fully rotate and they hinge. You do get a diaphragm cut. It is a little stiff on mine. You also do get some waist rotation if you guys want to see how far forward he can bend, how far back. The legs do have good range of motion for the splits. You do have double jointed knees here. There is an ankle hinge up and down. Not so much to the side, but you can rotate them around just like all of the other figures. So if you, again, have the other version, this one is, in my opinion, a little bit of a lesser version of it. If you guys were curious to see what those freeze effects look like on the Batman figure, here they are. They aren't the best. They were a little bit of a pain in the ass to get on. But it does add a little something to the figure and a nice extra accessory. Personally, I would have preferred maybe some interchangeable hands or weapons for Batman. So comparison time, here is both George Clooney Batman figures from McFarlane. The 6-pack version here on the left has the cloth cape versus this, rubber cape that does come on the single card version. I will say the sculpting of the suit looks to be identical. The difference I'm noticing is the single carded version seems to be a little darker than the 6-pack. You'll see the black just looks to be a little darker, but the heads look identical. The sculpts are the same. If you guys want to take a look at the back. Personally, like I said, I'm a sucker for cloth capes. So the cloth cape to me is always going to win over the rubber cape. But there is a slight difference if you did have both versions. I'll be honest with you guys. He's not going to make the cut and stay in my collection. I'm going to keep the 6-pack version as I only need one George Clooney Batman. All right, now the moment you all have been waiting for. We are going to assemble all of the Build-A-Figure parts to complete Mr. Freeze. Here is Mr. Freeze all assembled and put together. And I'll be honest with you guys, I do not like McFarlane Build-A-Figures. They are kind of a pain in the ass. I feel like the legs don't really feel like they're in so sturdy. Look at that. It just popped right out. I really did wedge it in, and it just seems to keep popping out. I feel like I have the same issue with the Build-A-Figure Bane. So when they eventually do a gold label version of this, you know they're going to, because they do this with every fucking Build-A-Figure. That is probably going to be the one to grab. But this leg seems to stay in a little better. But look at that. It just pops the hell out. So that is a little annoying. I am putting a pretty good amount of force to keep it in there. It does snap in, you hear it, but it seems to keep popping out. But the figure itself looks pretty decent. Like I said, the head sculpt itself has an okay likeness to Arnold. You'll see even the size of this gun, my lord. But let's kind of get this out of his hand so we can get a more close-up look at everything all put together on the body. So here's the head for Arnold. We'll zoom in. And like I said, you can kind of see the resemblance, but it looks a little off from some angles. But overall, I think it's a decent job. Probably the best Mr. Freeze Arnold figure that we've ever gotten, right? The kind of gauntlet pieces do port on there. You can see they just kind of plug in some holes here on the back. I don't really like that design. I kind of wish this was just one molded piece, to be honest. But you'll see the kind of blues on his chest. Same on the arms. Continuing on, I will say the feet look freaking massive. I don't know if that was the design or what, but if you guys wanted to get a quick look at this blaster one more time, off of the figure, there it is. It looks okay. I'm going to attempt to do an articulation video here of this figure, so hopefully it stays together in one piece. The head fully rotates, doesn't look up and down too much. The arms, they do rotate. This is very thin, so it doesn't seem to get in the way, and you can kind of move it up and down, so that is a good feature. There is a little bit of a butterfly joint, very small movement, just what you'd expect. I don't believe there's a bicep cut here, so he does not have a bicep cut. I believe it is single jointed elbows on this figure. The hands fully rotate. There is no hinge either. Wow. Or maybe just mine is very stiff. There is a diaphragm joint, so you can move them side to side here, as well as a lower point. There goes the leg. Jesus. So the leg kicks up about that much. Not a decent amount back. The problem is this other leg just keeps freaking popping off. Like, what the hell, man? That's really annoying. The knee, single jointed knee. There is not a thigh cut. I thought for a second there was. There is kind of a calf lower rotation. He does have toe articulation. That looks really oddly weird. It does kind of hinge. Mine's a little stiff. So, okay articulation for Mr. Freeze here. Not the best, but does have some nice bulkiness and size to it. If you guys are enjoying this video review, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of these figures and if you will be adding them to your collection. I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is a very fun set, very nostalgic set for me. Maybe one of the worst Batman movies of all time, but it's crazy that we have the figures of them. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that we're going to be seeing more cinematic Batman figures. I feel like they are probably doing really well at McFarlane. You know, Batman Returns is high on my list. Even Batman Forever. I would love, like, just a regular Forever suit with Val Kilmer versus that kind of Sonar or whatever suited version we got with a six-pack. But, you know, let's start off with Uma Thurman. I was thoroughly surprised with this figure. I really was not excited to have it. I was like, I guess I got to get her to complete Mr. Freeze because that was something I really wanted and thought I needed for my collection. But she actually did turn out pretty good. I do like the likeness on the head sculpt. I really do like the attire on her singlet, I guess you want to call it, or her gear, whatever. Her Poison Ivy look here. I do like the plants, how they're sculpted in there. If there was one minor complaint was her armpit joint kind of was left unpainted, so that's a little bit of an eyesore. But the rest of the figure looks very toyetic. Even that leaf in her hand, just little nice details to this figure. So I think this turned out really good. Chris O'Donnell, absolutely love this figure. I may be in the minority. I don't know. I just think it's a great figure. I really do like the likeness. It's just, I'm excited to have, you know, a 6-7 inch modern day version look figure for Chris O'Donnell from this movie. The Batman figure, probably I'm going to say my least favorite figure from this set. Just wasn't looking forward to it. I already have a better version, so I feel like I'm being forced to buy another figure to kind of complete Mr. Freeze. Especially the rubber cape, I will say it is better than I anticipated. It is not quite so top heavy. It does have a nice kind of shine to it, and I do like that it is slightly different from the 6-pack, so if you guys wanted more of a darker suit, this is probably the one to go with, even though he does have the rubber cape, which I'm not the biggest fan of, if we can avoid it, right? Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. I do like the figure. I'm happy to add her into my collection here. Just something different, you know, and something, like I said, maybe not super popular, but just something I remember, you know, nostalgic to my childhood. And Mr. Freeze, I'm going to be honest, I'm a little disappointed, and I don't think it looks, you know, overly like a bad figure. I just feel like I don't like how the freaking leg pops off. It feels a little clunky in hand. It wasn't the most fun to assemble, but they did hit on some points. You know, it does have an okay likeness. I do like the translucent look on the helmet. I do like the blaster effect that came with the gun. So all in all, I don't think it's a bad figure, but I don't know. I don't know what I expected. It's just Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, larger than life. I expected a little more out of this figure. So let's do a quick ranking of this wave from my least favorite to my favorite. So at number 5, being my least favorite figure from the set, I'm going to go George Clooney Batman for the reasons stated. I already kind of have the better version in my collection. At number 4, I'm going to go with Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. It's a good figure, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like the other figures in this wave were a little stronger. Surprisingly, number 3, I'm going to go with Poison Ivy. I really feel like this figure turned out pretty good. Even though
again, not the best movie, right? But Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy did a great job, and this figure really captured her really nicely. And number 2, this may surprise you. I'm going to go with Mr. Freeze. I thought for sure I was going to love this figure, and it was going to be my, without a doubt, number 1. I would bet my bottom dollar that they are going to release a gold label version that will put this one to shame. So just for the reasons I stated, it just doesn't feel as solid in hand that I would prefer. I feel like it's similar to if you collect like Mattel WWE figures. A lot of those Build-A-Figures, like the suited ones back in the day, were like, okay, like arms would pop off. They just didn't feel as solid in hand. I'm going to say that's kind of comparable with Mr. Freeze. Number 1, this may shock some people, but I love this Robin figure. I've been glowing ever since I popped out of the box. Just a fun figure to have. So that's my ranking. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video review. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at AlexWestCollects. I will catch you all on the next one.